Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. It's the third Monday motivation from Elizabeth Chance from Busy Living Sober. How is everybody today? It's Monday, July 31st at 12:15 p.m. Eastern Time. I've been wanting to do this all day, and it's just been one of those days. It's been one of those Mondays that I just can't stop. I'm like constantly so busy today. But anyway, my motivation for today is supporting women, is supporting each other, is being okay with ourselves and okay to share with others. It's episode 361 if I didn't say that. Um it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy time, hasn't it been? I'm a couple weeks shy of my 17th year anniversary of not having a drink or a drug. I don't take any mind altering drugs. And I don't do edibles, and I don't smoke weed, and I don't take anything. Sometimes I wish I did. I'm going to say that because that is the truth. Because life can be really hard. And especially these days, it's been really tough with everything that's going on in our governments, with the wars and all this other crazy stuff that we have going on in the world. We all can feel like so overwhelmed that we're like, I've got to pick up something so I don't feel my feelings. My feelings are so overwhelming and I don't want to share. And we all have a group of friends. At least when I was drinking, I had a million trillion friends, all these people that I could reach out to. And it was kind of not real because never discussed anything that was real, right? Everything was good. Everything was good. And if somebody says, how are you doing? You always be like, okay, I'm okay. And you wouldn't say, you know what? I'm having a rough day. I'm having a hard time. Life is getting overwhelming. I just feel like I need or at times we would pick up a drink and we'd be like, let's go meet each other for a drink. That's our reprieve. But when we decide that we can't drink anymore, and not only do we can't drink anymore, we're going through the change of life. I'm 54, so it's been, perimenopause and then menopause, which has been so hard. And I just started taking estrogen and I'm also taking progesterone just to feel better. And so I can sleep better and be in a better, hopefully calming place. But it's tough, right? Life can be tough. But if we have each other, then we don't feel so alone. They say you live longer if you have more friends, right? And we're like, well, where am I supposed to meet friends? Where am I supposed to get these people? And it's hard, right? It's hard figuring out who I can trust and who I can't trust. And if we have feelings from our childhood where we feel like, oh my gosh, nobody even listened to me when I was a kid and nobody's listening to me now. And I feel like, what am I going to do? I started watching this Shop with Caroline on Instagram. Don't ask me how I found her. I was one day going through the reels and I found her and she's like 51. She has two kids. She had kids later in life. And she's all about like putting on your jewelry, putting on your makeup. So I'm putting on makeup now. I put on all my jewelry today before I came on and I feel better. And what is it that makes you tick? What is it that is in you that makes you feel better? Because what works for me might not work for you, right? Because we're humans, we're not robots. It's interesting. I was telling a friend yesterday, I said, she's got a very, her life seems calm on the outside to me. Her life seems like this. It's good. And I just spent the weekend with her and it was amazing, amazing, amazing. But I feel like right now I'm going through some hard things, right? My marriage isn't always great. Kids isn't always great. Feeling alone is not great. I've moved around a lot. My husband said we're nomads. I'm going to say I'm not a nomad anymore, but I have moved around a lot since my youngest graduated. And I feel like, again, I got married, which was different. And we all do these things and we all keep walking in our lives and it's feeling like we can trust and we can have joy. But being authentic is huge. And who do we be authentic with if it's not with our girlfriends? We have to be authentic with somebody. We have to realize that we're trying our best and that we need each other. We don't need to bring each other down. I have another friend who says, watch out for women because they're so mean. And I think anybody can be mean. A woman, man, anybody can be mean. It's just realizing that I've got to pick the people in my life that cheer me on rather than put me down. I've got to bring people in my life that make me feel better about myself than worse than myself. Um, It's sometimes tough, but if you realize that you want to change is the number one thing. Going, I want to change. I want to change. And you try and change and you do something in your life that changes things is important, right? Figuring out what that is that you need to change. Is it that you don't want to drink anymore? You can do that. There's so many ways to do it today. That sober curious movement, I think, is amazing. I was telling my friend again this weekend, I was like, wow, there's people out there that are getting sober and they're not going to 12 steps because I understand for people 12 step doesn't work. For me, it saved my butt. I absolutely love 12 step meetings. It's what I've done for 17 years. But if that doesn't something you want to do because of the shame or whatever it is, the fear you have about going into a meeting or whatever it is, there's sober curious people out there that don't necessarily call themselves an alcoholic, but they say, you know what, I need help and I don't want to keep doing this anymore. I was watching, I don't really watch that much of like Sex and the City that or whatever it's called these days, a new Sarah Jessica Parker show that's a I can't remember what it's called, but anyway, Sarah Jessica Parker and that whole crew, except for Samantha, is on the show, and they had one of the women is Miranda, the one that plays Miranda with the red. She used to have red hair, now it's white. But she got sent this sober curious book, and she was like, "Am I an alcoholic? Am I not an alcoholic?" And having that ability to look at where you are and what your relationship with alcohol is, it's okay. It's okay if you decide that, you know what, I don't want to have this in my life. And I know it's such a part of society, but these mocktails that are available now when you go out to parties and to functions and you can order something that is no alcohol changes the game. It's a game changer. They weren't doing this 17 years ago. I mean, when I was over with my friend in Sarasota, we went to dinner and they had no mojitos, no alcohol mojitos. And I know what it was. It was simple syrup that tasted like mint and lime with ice and soda water. And it tasted fabulous. And I had it in a pretty glass and it tasted good. And I had something a little different. I don't drink soda. I don't know how many, I mean, if you drink soda, but I don't drink soda. I haven't had a Diet Coke I don't even know when the last time I had one, but I had an option of having something else that was healthy. And yes, it had a little bit of sugar in it, but it was delicious. And having those options available is so great for everyone out there. You know, we don't want to feel like we're different because we have a different relationship with alcohol than other people do, that we can't drink like normal people. Normal, again, you all know that I think normal is BS, but having an ability to say, I am going to put what I need in front of everything else. And I'm going to find a crew of people around me that I can bring into my life that are going to support me and raise me up rather than bringing me down is number one, right? We've got to start with that. But we have to believe in ourselves. And as hard as some of our relationships are around us, we have to find a way that we can bring ourselves up. If it's putting on a bunch of jewelry, if it's wearing makeup, if it's calling a friend, if it's listening to a podcast, it has to be something that you feel good about, that you want to share with others, right? You want to share this with others. You want to share that I'm not feeling great, but we can feel great together and we can bring each other up. We can have gratitude, you know, being authentic, having love, having hope, having joy. We can't let anything outweigh that, right? We can't have a darkness and not have the light. We need both. We need more light than we need dark. We need we need the scales to tip a little. We need to have more light and less dark. So the gratitude really, really makes you feel better. This morning I got up, I meditated in bed, but then I went outside and I just sat outside for 10 minutes without my phone. I lit a candle. My fountain's outside, so I have water running around me. So there's water. I have a little waterfall out front and I have a little waterfall in the back. And very easy. You can order this little device for $12 on Amazon, a little pump, and you put it in water and the water flows and you can put some shells in there or rocks or whatever it is and have water flowing near you, light a candle and just take 10 minutes to just say thank you. If it's God, for me, it's God. For you, it might be the universe, whatever it is. And you say, thank you for today. Let me be in peace today. I'm overwhelmed. I feel like I have anxiety, which is fear. I have all this fear and I don't know what to do with it. So help me in the morning get to this place where I'm going to feel like, okay, I'm going to start my day with gratitude. I'm going to start my day. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to put on something I like. I mean, right now I'm wearing just this tank top. If you're watching me or listening to me, I'm just wearing a tank top because I know it's hot all over the country. Right now, it's really hot in Florida. And I'm wearing my tank top, but I put on all my jewels, my favorite shorts, and they might be a little tight, but I'm working on that too. Um, it's all about taking our lives and realizing what brings you joy. What is it? What brings you love? What warms your heart? Where do you find that? Is it in music? Is it in podcasts? Is it in books? Is it being out with your friends? Is it going out and listening to music, like a free concert in your town? That's the one thing. They have all these free things that you can do in your town. But so many of us, at least when I was living up in Philadelphia, I didn't go and look and see where's a free concert. Here in Delray, it's kind of easy because they always have one at the old school square downtown. There's always something going on. Getting out there and just showing up by yourself and going and meeting people, going to local farmers markets, picking food that's really good for you, drinking a ton of water. So good for you. You're like, what do you mean? I'm like, water is good for you. And you just have to go to your faucet. You don't have to buy bottled water. Okay. You don't have to do that. You can just get the water from your sink. And if you're like, well, my sink, the water in my town isn't very good, get one of those purifier things. They're not that expensive and purify your water and drink water each day. I try to drink at least 100 ounces. And you're like, oh my God, 100 ounces. That's like 4 of these. So I squeeze a little bit of lemon in it and I drink that all day long. I'm not eating as much then. And then I don't feel bad because I had this big sugar crash. I mean, so many of us eat sweets and they give us this extra, you know what? Have the water. It'll make you feel better. Doing some form of exercise. And I know, again, it's so hot. So you have to get up really early or do it in the evening. Make sure if you go at night, you have a light. And if you live in a dangerous area, make sure you have mace or something with you. It's all about taking care of you. What works for you? So many of us have these feelings, especially with these hormones in us. And there's so many people out there that give us advice on Instagram that we think because they look pretty or their information sounds good, it might not be the right information. Okay, don't be sold on everything you hear because not everything you hear is truthful. You know, I grew up in St. Louis where everybody believes in like I grew up believing in everything. Okay, I have to sip the water. I believed everyone. I thought everybody told the truth. I thought everybody was out for everybody else. And the older I get, 54 now, I realize not everybody's right. And I realize that everybody on this planet is trying to do their best. Okay. But not everybody is the best. Okay. Everybody's fallible. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer, your priest, whatever it is. Everybody does something wrong. No one is perfect. We forget to talk about that. Like, no one is perfect except for God. That's it. Okay. And some people don't even think he was perfect. So, you know, you've got to do what's right for you. What makes you tick? What brings you joy in your heart? What is it? It might be something so simple as watching your kids sleep in bed. I used to love that. I get so much joy when all of my kids are home. It's just knowing that they're in the same house. When they were babies, all I wanted them to do was grow up and be able to take care of themselves. And today it's like I long for those days of when they were in their beds and I could just go and look and know, okay, everybody's safe in here with me. But we don't get kids to have them forever. We get them till they're 18 or 19. And then God willing, they go and they do what they're supposed to do and they grow up and you're like, now what? And you're not alone. We have to reinvent ourselves. And it's so flippin' fucking hard. It is so hard some days. Some days we're like, I can't do this. I spent so many hours driving my kids here and there. And now I wake up one day and they're gone. And you're like, now what? Now what becomes of me? And what becomes of you is what you want to become. Have you always had a dream? My dream has always been to interview people, to get to know people, to share people's stories so they can help other people. This Shop with Caroline has helped me so much. And she's just a woman, right? She's just a woman who lives on the West Coast who 5 years ago started recording herself and saying, "Look at this outfit. Isn't this is what I'm wearing, and I'm going to feel better about myself." And her business has grown. Whatever it is, you can't worry about what other people are going to think about it. It's how you feel about it. How do you feel inside of you? What other people think about you is none of your business. If you've always wanted to try to play a sport and you're like, but I can't, yes, you can. You don't have to be number one. I mean, especially at this age, sorry, I'm not joining the senior pickleball tournament people. I'm not going to sign up to be, in the golf, whatever. I just want to go and enjoy and have fun. Getting outside and being with friends and just walking around a golf course or just walking around a park brings you joy. Sometimes you just want to walk around and listen to your favorite music and just have a time out and just be able to look around. But if you're so invested in how you're feeling at this moment, you can't, because feelings change all the time. Okay? Because feelings aren't facts. Feelings are feelings. They change. Sometimes I'm scared, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes sometimes I am a spiritual giant, and some days I am just another bozo on the bus. Some days I feel like God is just directing everything. Everything's working out exactly the way it should in a line like dominoes. But some days, like recently, it has been hard. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing this podcast. I can't look at the analytics because it doesn't really matter. If one person hears me, that is enough. And if one person finds inspiration from this, that is enough. I can't worry about the rest. I feel better when I do this. It brings me joy to do these podcasts. It brings me joy that I'm going to be bringing you a great podcast on Wednesday. I'm interviewing this wonderful woman who's been doing Sober Curious, and I'm so excited to share her story with you. It's like we need more of each other going, I get it. I get it. I know where you are. I get how you feel, but you can do this. I got your back. That's what we need. We need more of I got your back. And I know that it's hard, but you've got to keep trudging. You've got to keep going. And it's not going to be like this forever. And we have to believe that in our hearts. And when I was getting first sober, I remember they used to say, fake it till you make it, fake it till you make it. Well, I constantly am faking it till I make it. I am faking it. I am doing whatever I can to get to this place of feeling good, right? I started taking the estrogen. I started taking the progesterone. I'm like 2 weeks in. I'm already sleeping better. I talked to my doctor about it. I told her the truth of how I was feeling and not sleeping well and the sweats all the time. And I told her about it, and sex is a whole nother story because, right, let's face it, we get to this place where we're like, I don't want to do that because those ideas have totally flown out the window. It doesn't matter what old age you are. I don't think it matters. I think it could happen at any age that you're just like, I'm not into it. What's wrong with me? Well, it's okay. Your hormones, our hormones change every day, every day. That's why some of these tests that are out there don't really work because some days it's like when I was younger and first got my period, right? You would have these horrible cramps, feel terrible, have a horrible period, then it would be over. And then you'd be really great for a couple of days. Then it'd be really bad. Then you'd be like, why am I so emotional? That's us as human beings. We have our DNA, our hormones change, and they can change the whole way we look at things. So how are you going to feel better? For me, it's doing this. It's getting out there and telling you guys that it is okay. This too shall pass. Whatever you're going through, however hard it is right now, this will pass. But knowing that you have people to talk to is so important. I support if you are getting sober and you need to talk to a therapist. It's huge. I love my therapist. I mean, actually, right now I'm between therapists, but I can't wait to get a new one. I keep working on finding a new one and realizing that each day I've got to do something that is going to make me feel better. Might not be putting on the makeup and the jewels. What is it for you? What makes you feel good? Is it going to the gym and working out really hard and doing CrossFit? Because to me, that sounds horrible. For me, going on a long hike up a mountain, not my idea of fun. My idea of fun is going on a flat walk. That's good. Going swimming in a pool or the ocean when it's not 8 billion degrees. I love that. But that might not work for you. What works for you? My motivation for this week is getting out there and figuring out what it is that makes you happy and finding a boardroom that works for you. Who's on your board? Who helps you to feel better? Who helps you get to the next day? So you don't feel so alone and feel like, oh my God, I'm going to pick up that drink, because I'm not going to pick up a drink. And I haven't picked up a drink in 17 years. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of shit I've dealt with over the past 17 years where I haven't had to pick up a drink. My best friends have died. My mother died. COVID happened, which was horrible. And I feel like nobody, COVID was bad. Okay. We have to face it. It was bad. And for our kids, it was really bad. I mean, my daughter never got a graduation from college. She had one after the effect. It wasn't anything like what it normally is. She didn't get that. And how many kids didn't get that? How many kids didn't get to go to school and be with their friends? How many kids are sad today? And us, as being women, we've got to be strong enough to help our kids feel better and know that we're just going to love them. And each kid is not going to go down the same path. It's just not going to happen. Each one of my kids is not going down the same path. Each one of my kids is a little different. And that's okay. That is okay. We've got to cheer each other on. We've got to find joy. We have to find happiness because we are the only we's we have. We got to look in the mirror. We got to say, we can do this. I'm going to get out of my Lululemon leggings. I'm going to get out of this tennis skirt. That's the only thing I wear. I'm going to put on my pants again. I'm going to buckle them, even if they're too tight. And I'm going to start taking care of me. I'm going to go back to the basics. It's like basics. It's like, what do I need? I need to have enough water a day, right? I need to take my vitamins. Okay. I need to talk to people because it's part of life. I have to talk to a friend, at least one friend a day. I have to find my posse. I have to feel like I'm not alone. Because when we feel alone, then we feel lost. We feel terrible when we feel alone. And nobody should feel alone today. I'm telling you, you can reach out to me anytime at elizabethchance.com because that's the easiest. ELIZABETH at elizabethchance.com. And chance is like take a chance, CHANCE. Reach out to me. I promise you I will reach back out. Or you can go to busylivingsober.com, and check it out there. It has all my websites on there and how to reach me. I just have to tell you that I spent a year ago today, I was doing my yoga certification and it was hard. And I went out on a limb and I tried something new. And to be totally honest, I haven't even kept up with it. It's terrible. When I first graduated from my yoga class, I was like, oh, I'm going to do yoga all the time. I hardly ever do it. I have to admit. Maybe it wasn't my thing. Maybe I'll pick it up again later, but that's okay. I tried it. I know how to teach yoga, even though I only teach my family when I do it. But then I went and got my health and wellness coaching certification. And that is something that totally interests me because I want to be authentic with you guys. I don't know the answer to everything. I just know that I keep wanting to learn new things. I don't think we're ever going to be finished learning. I think there are so many books, so many things that we can learn in our lives. But whatever it is that interests you, go do it. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Here, I'm giving you permission. Go do what makes you happy. Go do it. Go do it. Just try not to hurt anybody when you're doing it. That's the big thing. And think about what repercussions it will have on your family. That's a big thing. I hope you enjoyed this week's Monday Motivation. Again, I'll be back on Wednesday with an amazing podcast. I can't wait to share it with you guys. And keep getting busy living sober. Okay. Keep trying, keep working for it because you have to know you are not alone. You've got to keep trudging the road and just having joy. And again, if it's just putting on your makeup, I mean, I feel great just that I have my makeup on. I'm like, oh, I kind of like myself right now. I don't look so bad. And I do have a bunch of wrinkles, but I earned every one of them. I earned every one of these wrinkles. And you did too. I bet you did too. Okay, enough from me. I'll talk to you guys next week. Well, I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Until next time, keep getting busy, living sober. Take care, everybody. Bye.